CFL Week 3. Welcome into the CFL Betting Blueprint here on Wagertalk TV. We have a great show for you guys here. 4 of us on the panel for this week to break things down, go through the games. And, well, speaking of 4, we finally have 4 games to break down. We're 2 weeks into the season, and we had 3 games in both those weeks. Well, it's a full slate, full schedule for this week. So look forward to breaking it down here, guys. We had 4 of 6 quarterbacks posting at least 400 yards in week 2. The overs so far, 5-1. And the one under, well, it was a half-point loss. So we're seeing lots of action, lots of points, and lots of parity so far in the CFL. We're going to have, of course, Terry Edelmann, Bobby Dubeau, and Rob Braley joining us. And you guys should know Rob by now, but if you don't, we'll tell you about him in just one second. He's a guy that knows some CFL. So without further ado, we'll bring in the cast of characters here. Terry, how are you, man? Good afternoon.
Not too bad. CFL Week 3 already. Feels like the first 2 weeks have kind of flown by, and obviously a few teams only played 1 game, so still not a whole lot of numbers out there, but the numbers are overs, like you said, Andrew. We talked about it last week about how crazy Week 1 was with overs, and then every over hit last week. It was crazy.
Yeah, I took a late game drive, but had my first 5% play of the season, and a lot of you guys joined me on it with the over in the BC Saskatchewan game. And hey, sometimes you don't overthink it. Yeah, you were seeing points so far, Bobby. We'll look to see if that keeps on going here. But how you doing, man?
Good. And you mentioned the parity. All that's changed is that Cody Fajardo starting in Edmonton. So same as last year, except Chad Kelly's healthy. Cody's starting. Basically everything we said 18 months ago has come true.
Well, Rob, we did a show for a whole summer together. Bobby was calling your family CFL royalty, and I feel like that's fair to say. Ownership of several teams. You know your stuff with the CFL, and I know you love to bet the CFL. Most importantly, how are things with you?
Everything's great. I've enjoyed the short season so far. Every game has been close. A lot of coin tosses, some overtimes. The quarterback efficiency is what stood out to me mostly, especially the veterans. They're just lighting it up, and it's made for some great, entertaining football to start.
Well, let's start with that, guys. Before we jump into the first game, Rob, I'll go back to you here. I mean, obviously, we play clock a little bit. We're saying that maybe that's helped with a couple extra plays per game. But, yeah, as I mentioned, 5-1 to the over here. You know, players, receivers, everybody, running backs, quarterbacks, everybody's having like career games. We're hearing every broadcaster and play-by-play guy saying this is the best game in this guy's career, and it's only like week 2, right? It's so early. What do you think there is to be said about this, and should we really expect it to change anytime soon?
Well, you usually expect the veterans to succeed early in the season. At least I do anyway. And like Bo Levi has come out on fire. I don't know if you can't call Davis Alexander a veteran just yet, but Trevor Harris has been fantastic. The only one who's kind of maybe leaking oil a bit, and I think he's getting up there in age, is Zach. As far as the veterans go, though, everybody's producing, everybody's performing. Vernon Davis doesn't have the big numbers, but that's probably because Calgary runs a very, very balanced attack. And Dickinson loves to run the football first and then throw second, but everybody else is throwing like crazy. And it's made for some really, really entertaining football.
What do you guys think, Bobby?
Yeah, I think it's a lot to do with the rule changes. Like, not every rule change is bad. I think the time clock is actually.
We might have just lost Bobby there. Terry, you take over.
For his point, I think I completely agree with where he was going with the play clock. I think is a great addition. Obviously, not all rules changes are good, but I think it was a good one.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's going to take time to adjust. It also feels like, and back to the point Rob just made, it feels like, there was a point in time where unders were the way to go to start the season. But then also it's become clear the past little while where whether or not games go over or not, defenses have taken time. Is that fair to say, Rob? Like, defense have taken time to catch up to these offenses in the CFL, then the competitive nature sets in there.
Yeah, and with a lot of moving parts this year, like Saskatchewan's got 5 new guys out of their front seven. Hamlin's made some changes to linebackers. BC's got a couple new corners. I can go on and on about the changes. I think it takes defenses a little while to gel and just figure out where everybody's going to be at what time of the play, and they'll learn as they go. And I think the numbers will tighten up eventually.
Well, we have as high as 58.5 in as far as this week is concerned. Let's jump into our first game of the week. Where is our? All right, let's talk Hamilton here, guys. Let's talk Hamilton and the Lions. Can we find this one? There we go. All right. 58.5 is the number here. 1.5 point road favorites for the Lions. Rob, I want to get your thoughts on this one because you were talking to me on the phone about the scheduling. And, I did a show earlier today and I was kind of discussing how, well, maybe at the start of the year, we don't care as much about travel and such and home field advantage. But in this particular instance, you seemed quite passionate about this, the way this all set up here. And that's why we have the 1.5 point line.
Yeah, I just found it strange, the scheduling. Like BC had a week off to start the season, and then they go and play on a Saturday. I think it was the last game of last week on the road. Then they go home, and then they fly across the country on a short week, like 3 time zone changes. It's not so much about being tired or exhausted this time of year. It's about preparation. And you're facing a Hamilton offense that has been lights out. Bo Levi, I've never seen him play this well in his life. And you only got basically 3 days to prepare for it because two of them are travel and one's a walkthrough, mostly special teams. So I think Hamilton gets a little advantage with prep time when did they play on the Thursday last week or Friday? Friday? I can't remember, but they got 2 extra days to prep for BC coming to town. It's a tough road trip. It's a tough travel for BC.
It is, and I feel like you look at this, and I guess, Rob, my mistake that I made, I said to myself was I kind of wanted to, and we'll bring Bobby back here. I kind of wanted to, going into week 2, back a team that lost and fade a team that won, and I didn't listen to my own advice because, of course, Hamilton beat Winnipeg. We kind of find ourselves in that same situation in this spot here. The way I looked at it is like, and you guys are kind of scaring me here. And Rob, when you talk to me about the schedule on the phone, it's like you've got Hamilton looking to avoid going 0-2 to start the season at home, but BC coming off that loss against Saskatchewan. And look, Terry, this is a Grey Cup defending team that took down BC. For some reason, I feel like people still don't give the Saskatchewan Roughriders the respect they deserve. If Nate Rourke is who he is, and everyone is so certain to call him the best quarterback in the league, why can't he go early in the season, short week, little practice, travel, and get the job done at a near pick'em?
I'm one of those. In fact, if you go and rewatch the week 1, I said Nathan Rourke's the best quarterback in the league. So I'm one of those people that you're talking about, Andrew. And yeah, the way I look at this game here, I still would like to see more. Obviously, we've only seen, like you said, 1 game from BC against Saskatchewan. So looking at previous meetings, now some people might think that what happened in the past doesn't matter. And it's not a huge portion of my handicapping when it comes to the CFL, but it is something that I look at previous meetings between 2 teams. The road team has won 6 games in a row between these 2. So for some reason, home field advantage has not been a thing between these 2, and 5 games in a row between these 2 have gone over 61. So we really see high-scoring games when BC and Hamilton face each other. So with the overs we were seeing so far this season, I was expecting a higher total. We're seeing 59.5. So I don't know if I'm going to get to the over that high, but the way I look at it is before the rule change, games between these 2 are going over. Now you've got the 35 the play clock, but you also have, as Rob was saying, Bo Levi playing the best we've seen from him. Nathan Rourke is going to have an opportunity. He's going to want to bounce back after last week. So When I look at this game here, I think it's going to be another high-scoring game. I think it might be close. I think this might be, if it is an under, it's just going to squeak by under. But when it comes to the side here, I'm completely torn. Again, I think this could be whoever has the ball last in the last few seconds of the game. That's my thoughts.
Well, look, 3 of the 4 games this week here, guys, pretty much a 1-point number, right? We got one game, 3.5. So they're supposed to be close. They're supposed to be close here where the adjustment's been made to the total. We think, Bobby, 58. But as Terry has told us, look, these teams have gone over in the 60s in the past, so this should be no sweat. But at the same time, the adjustment's been made. What do you make of the travel and that stuff here, Bobby?
Yeah, I agree with Rob. Like, honestly, I think these two teams are pretty close. This is just similar to thinking to what I had last week with Saskatchewan and BC. Home field matters. 2 days of practice matters. They only practice for like an hour and a half for those 2 days. Travel matters. So I think it's like I'm just taking the points for Hamilton here. If it goes the other way and BC pops up with a couple, then I'll grab those. 1-point games are more common than you'd think. In the CFL, it's the third most common number behind 3 and 7. So I think there's a lot of things working against BC, and they're only going to get tougher for the next few weeks here when they're still sort of on their road trip, even in the Okanagan.
I want to so bad be contrarian, guys, and take the under in this game. So bad. I want to just be like, 58.5. All right. Because even we saw it. Like, look, the game I had the big play on the over, Saskatchewan, BC, there was the game-winning drive. If a field goal would have got me there probably as well with the tie game and then more points after that. But the touchdown got it there. But still, it was late in the game. And, well, if you follow Bobby or myself on Twitter, you know how upset we are anytime someone kicks a field goal. March the whole field. Rob, I got to get your take on this. We're always tweeting about this. These teams that will drive the whole entire field or on the 5-yard line. And unless you're dealing with crazy wind, go for it on third. You've been watching the CFL, following it, a part of the league for a long time. What do you think about our rants? Are we justified here?
Yeah, if you're inside the 10-yard line, I think you have to go for 6 points. It just seems such a waste to go for 3. I just want to point out one thing about the Hamilton game and one way to look at it. And I know it's a lot of people don't bet teasers, but some of these games have been so tight and so close. I think there's a teaser opportunity if you get Hamilton over 7.5, plus 7.5 or 8. And then you can figure out which other game you want to use with that. There's lots of options here to put a teaser in. And that's the way I'm going to look at it. As long as the teasers are under 125, I think that's the way I'm going to bet this game.
Yeah, and I think it goes without saying that the cheesy dad joke has to come in here that maybe the dogs will be barking this week. You know what? And if you can get them down, teasers are good in the CFL, especially early on. I feel like a lot of blowouts don't happen until later on in the season. So we'll see what happens with that. For me, guys, look, I haven't gotten to the window yet, but I lean towards BC. Will I take them first half? Will I take them full game? Look, if Nate Rourke look, we're supposed to have our own opinions here, guys, but if Nate Rourke is who everybody says he is, and I'm not saying Bo Levi isn't great because I like Bo Levi, but let's not forget who this secondary is. And I'm here to say this. It was a bad bet by me on Winnipeg. That was one of my losses last week. You lose some that were probably good bets. You lose some that, were bad bets. Winnipeg had, an interception that turned into a 3 the other way right before half. They had a drop catch in the end zone. They had a lot of a missed field goal. I think Winnipeg could have put up more on Hamilton, and I still don't trust their defense. And I think that at this point, can we say that Rourke is more clutch than Colaro? So I don't know if that's fair to say or not, but we're going to find out what he can do. I don't think this Lions team wants to start 0-2 to their season, so we'll find out. But look forward to it, guys, and also look forward to seeing if by the end of the week I have it in me to take under in a CFL game. We'll see what we get to. All right, Toronto and Ottawa here. Let's get to the next game on the board here. The Redblacks. This Redblacks team here. We'll start with you this time, Bobby. Look, I've been saying this is going to be a good team to catch as an underdog, to catch as a dog, getting points with them here. We've talked about the coaching addition. We've talked about some moves that they've made. Last week, Chad Kelly, pretty much what you'd expect, threw the ball pretty well, threw an interception as well, and got in a shoving match with his coach. He hit all 3 checks. But what do you think about this matchup? Another near pick'em here.
Yeah, I think this line's pretty close to where it should be. I don't really have a hot take on either side here. At the end of the day, you've got Ottawa with give them a little bit of home field, but they're starting the wrong quarterback. They're waiting on Greg Bell. Apparently, he is going to be starting this week at running back. So the first legitimate running back the Redblacks have had in a long time. Either way, though, I'd just take a couple points if they pop up for either side here. And come to me first. Yeah, I'm not giving you anything for this game. I got nothing.
Come on. You come to the guy first and we get nothing. Who's got something for us? Terry, what do you have for us here? We got a near pick'em, Toronto and Ottawa.
Ooh, the battle of the bums. Is that fair to say?
Okay.
When it comes to the teams in the CFL, this is probably the matchup here with the 2 worst teams. Obviously, you all know how I feel about Edmonton. So if Edmonton was involved, it would for sure be the matchup up with the bums. But looking at previous games between these 2 teams, Toronto's won 8 of the last 10 meetings. Of course, both of these 2 teams are much different than in past seasons. So kind of take that with a grain of salt. Looking at totals between these 2, 4 of the last 5 have gone over 67.5, including the 46-42 game last year. We have a 58-38 the year before. So when I look at this one here, I think this is going to be another high. I think this is going to be a good over game. I think this is going to be one of the good overs on the slate. When it comes to the side, in my opinion, if Toronto is going to win a game, Ottawa is probably the team they're going to beat. So do they do it here on the road? Do they do it at home? I'm not sure. So when it comes to the side, I'm not sure on this one. But CFL overs, previous games between these 2 have been extremely high scoring. Chad Kelly, like you said, Andrew, on X, no rust for Chad Kelly at all. So I like the over.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like every single person was talking about, it's been this many days, this many hours and seconds since he's thrown a football in the CFL. It's like, guys, he hasn't just forgotten how to play, and Rob, I'll give you a shout here. You texted me saying, hey, I'm probably going to jump on Chad Kelly interception prop any chance I could get. He was one of the QBs that put up some numbers. He did get that interception in there for you, but where are you on this game? It's the second home game for Ottawa of the season here. I'm going to throw it to you with this. They got shut out in 2 quarters against the Edmonton Elks defense. What do you think about this one?
I think we got 2 horrible defenses. And if I agree with Terry. I like the over. I don't love a side, but if I had to pick a side, I would lean just because I think Chad Kelly is far superior than Jake Merritt quarterback. And I'd lean Toronto, but I'm going to probably bet the over in this one as well.
Yeah, it's like you're betting the over because of the bad defenses and a little bit because of the offenses. Sometimes you bet overs because you love the offenses. Sometimes you bet overs because you just really don't like the defenses. And I feel like that's kind of the case with this one. But yeah, the way that you ended there, Rob, that's why I like this Toronto side. Look, I've told Bobby so many times that out of every team in the league, and this is no disrespect towards Ottawa, and how they cheer on their team, I just don't give Ottawa much of a home field advantage when it comes down to how they play at home.
You remember the last couple of years how bad their coaching was too? It was just horrific. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was just, what is he thinking? Hopefully that's corrected now, but I think Toronto's – with the coaching change in Toronto, I don't think it's that significant because he was already working with Chad Kelly. And I give the advantage to Toronto, and I think Toronto's going to be better as the season goes.
So, Rob, to you, how long does that take to get rolling in Ottawa? Because for me, that's part of my handicap. If this game was played in week 8, maybe I'm not on Toronto here, but the new coach, you can't just get gelled right away,
Yeah, no, I thought Ottawa would be better than they showed the first game, but it's only a small sample size, so you can't just judge them on that yet. But I look at their roster. I've looked at it a couple times. I'm like, what have they really done? Like, where are they better?
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just bizarre.
Hard to argue an over in this one here, guys. Hard to argue an over in this one. Let's get some points. Argos and Redblacks. Well, guys, again, we do have a triple header on Saturday. So I always like when the CFL does Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sometimes it is cool having a double header, but a triple header here. And the next one up on the board is Montreal and Edmonton. Guys, if you have been enjoying these videos throughout the week, hit the like button. It does help us through the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel here, Wagertalk TV. Check us out, of course, on Twitter. But comment below who you're betting on this week, who your favorite pick is in the CFL. And we want to try and grow the game. Let's talk about this next one, though, guys. We'll look at Montreal and Edmonton. I know, Bobby, you got an opinion on this one, so I'll go back to you here with this game. Alouettes and the Elks.
Yeah, and actually, before I do this, I actually upgraded Montreal after last week. But I still can't justify them laying points in Edmonton, let alone 3.5 here. They're still got a few injuries that they're dealing with from week 1. Edmonton off a bye. It's another game I think should be close to a pick. And this is the classic bowling shoe ugly bet. That's the ones that only a professional can make, and that's the Elks, 3.5 against the best team in the league. But like you said, the parity is real this year in the CFL. And I'll take 3.5, basically any team against anybody else. So it's the Elks for me. I jumped on it right away on Sunday, and it hasn't moved. I guess there's not much support backing me up, but we'll see. We'll see at the end of the week.
Yeah, there were some 4.5. I saw some people tweeting that out, but the main number is 3.5 here in this one. And yeah, I'll tell you what, guys, I have talked about how great Davis Alexander is, but I feel like over the last 2 years, I've found way too many reasons to try and go against the guy. Now still remains undefeated, I believe 13-0 regular season. Didn't get that ring that he wanted though, but been a phenomenal regular season. But the defense is where I go when it comes to talking about this team. As we talked about, we had a free agency departure. We had retirement as far as pass rusher is concerned, linebackers. Defensive changes here, Rob, with this team. I feel like Montreal is going to give up more points this year. And Edmonton, as we know, they never really struggled to put points on the board. It was a little bit just about not giving them up. And I feel like this is a spot here that can make this a field goal game. So I'm with Bobby.
I'm going to have to agree with Bobby, too. I think Montreal, the biggest loss on defense is part of me, if I pronounce his name wrong, Decoy, the safety. He was a leader. He was a hell of an athlete, and then they lost the linebacker. Sankey went to BC, of course. Yeah. So that's the heart and soul of that defense, in my opinion. And it's going to take them time. They won't be as good as last year in defense. It'll take them time. They got a lot of new faces as well, and I got to take the 3.5. I don't see any other way to bet this game.
All right, Terry, no pressure, but if you want to fade the public on the show, you can go the other way here, but. Total wise, I mean, do you want to just keep looking at points in Elks games? I mean, they didn't get there in their other game, but that was against an Ottawa team that couldn't string it together. What do you think in this one, Terry?
Well, I'm not on Montreal, but there's no way I'm putting my money on Edmonton, especially at home. This is the worst. Now, they did turn things around later on in the year last year, but if you look at the last 7-8 years, this is the worst team in the CFL at home by far. I don't think it's close. This team has just been a disaster for years. Yes, okay, they got a win against Ottawa. This feels like a spot where they should get smashed. So, but having said that, I don't know if I want to take the 3.5. So I can have an opinion on what I think is going to happen and not necessarily want to put my money on it, which is the case here. I'm looking at probably the over again. Yes. Now this is one of the previous games between these two have kind of been lower scoring, but you had a quarterback that's actually a running back at quarterback last year for Edmonton. Now you have an actual quarterback that can throw the ball. So I think this is going to be a higher scoring game. And I would look at both quarterbacks, their passing yards over. I'm interested to see what the lines are for quarterbacks for their passing yards this week, with 4 guys going over 400 last week. Obviously, we're not going to see a 399 or anything like that, but I'm interested to see how the odds makers adjust when it comes to the quarterback passing props. I should have mentioned the last game, I'm probably going to be looking at Chad Kelly. Now, he, I think, had 475 last week, or 440 or so, or 475, I think, something like that. So I don't think he's going to hit that, but I'm expecting his to be around 290 something. So if that's the case, I'll likely be on the over there. And then both of these quarterback passing yards overs. The only issue, though, is Justin Rankin can be obviously a beast on the ground. So if he has a big game, maybe Fajardo doesn't throw as much. So, but look for Davis Alexander to have a big game here.
Rob, you like to sprinkle in the props a little bit, or the players. I know you were telling me about that interception prop. In this one here, I mean, when I look at it, if Cody Fajardo, the three of us like the Elks, but obviously we don't think they're gonna run away with it. It's gonna probably be close, right? Like Fajardo's gonna be throwing the ball a ton. I've dabbled in 3 props so far. It's kind of hard for me not to want to look at this Fajardo number if it comes out reasonable, simply because, yeah, they want to establish the run game. But, Rob, it's going to be important for Fajardo to have a good game here.
Absolutely. He's not a running quarterback, so he's going to have to throw the football. They do have a great running back. Can they establish the run against Montreal? That I don't know. So, yeah, I also would look at maybe Fajardo. I haven't looked at prop numbers or prices of props yet. A lot of them aren't available yet. But for Fajardo, maybe 1.5 touchdowns or over, something like that, I would look at for sure. Again, they can run a balanced attack, and if that's the way they go, it's going to affect the yardage, passing yards. But I still think they're going to have success moving the football against Montreal.
Yeah, and you talked about that quarterback, Terry, that was the running back. He got used this past week, actually, for Hamilton towards the end of the game. But when you talk about Edmonton getting better towards the end of last season, that's towards around the time that they changed their quarterback. So this quarterback is in. And I'll throw this out here as we approach the next game here. Saskatchewan visiting the Stamps in Calgary. You know how a lot of people will say betting lines for MLB are a lot of the time obviously ranked based on the starting pitcher. And I know we're not supposed to just be all end all with quarterbacks here, but we talked about it in that Argos and Redblacks game. And I think sometimes it is important to look at. So when you look at a quarterback, like Bobby, you talk about your numbers a lot when they switch from one guy to the next as well. With Fajardo, I think it's important for us to mention how much different of an impact he's made with this organization.
Yeah, for sure. You had to kind of downgrade Edmonton for the first half of every game last year just because they had a quarterback, probably a 3-point difference at least. You're starting the wrong guy. You're starting the wrong guy in Ottawa as well. You have to adjust for that. So honestly, like Ottawa, Toronto, probably the only ones that have a legitimate starting or backup quarterback right now. The good thing is they've kind of gotten rid of the retreads in this league. If anybody does go down, there's at least hope that you can get like an Elgersma or who are they talking about? Saskatchewan Shager or Shagger. It's not going to be Jack Cohn, hopefully. But there's some new quarterbacks out there where there's sort of an unknown and a little bit of hope. Whereas like the last few years, we're going to Caleb Evans. We know what that is, right? So there's definitely adjustment and yeah, you have to kind of scrap everything that Edmonton's done the last few years until they put Cody Fajardo in there, who's still, I think, has me blocked on social media.
Well,
who's his backup?
Yeah.
Who's his backup? Powell?
For them?
I think Powell's his backup this year.
Yeah.
From Hamilton. Yeah, he's all right. He's okay.
CFL backup quarterbacks are like NHL head coaches. It's just reduce, reuse, recycle. They're following the 3 R's. I mean, they just keep bringing back the same people time and time again. So that's going to be a great one, guys. It's going to be a great one here. Again, triple header, CFL on a Saturday. Rob, 3 games with 1.5 point numbers here. And the irony is all 3 of those games have the road team as the short 1.5 point favorites here. Saskatchewan and Stamps, the Calgary Stampeders here. What are your thoughts here, Rob, when it comes to this match? I mean, am I far off to say that I felt like people are disrespecting the Grey Cup champions? Maybe I'm just a Riders guy. I don't know here, but Stamps coming off a bye. They still have VA. Is the team improved? What do you think about this game?
From what I saw of the Stamps, it was not an impressive first game. There is lots of room for improvement. Vernon was average at best, but they ran the ball. Mills is a phenomenal running back too. I'm looking for improvement out of Calgary, and they just came off a bye, I believe. So they've had time to prepare for this game. And I think they beat them twice last year. I think Calgary won both matchups against Saskatchewan last year. So I would not count Calgary out of this game at all.
Yeah, look forward to hopefully another good one in the CFL as well. But again, this Riders team, late game drive, establishing the run. But Trevor Harris, Bobby, last year, I believe, led the league in passing accuracy, passing completion percentage. Goes out and has another fantastic game. Both Terry and I had his over for passing yards last week in week 2. What do you think? Is this another one of those opportunities you're looking to jump on the rested team?
I'm not looking to jump on anything in this game yet. Saskatchewan, yeah, they did look great at the start of that game, but they let the Lions back in that game, and that's something that they've kind of been known for the last couple of years is just kind of getting a little sloppy later in the game. That was just a field goal contest, like we said. Whoever kicked the last field goal was likely going to lose, and you had to wait till the very dying minutes of the fourth quarter till this team started to go for it and tried to win, right? Calgary, like Rob said, like they gifted Winnipeg that game in week 1, and looking how Winnipeg played in last week, maybe it's not as impressive as we thought. I think Saskatchewan definitely should be favored here on the road. I haven't actually seen much line movement. Like I'm saying like, yeah, I'll grab these points. But this isn't like previous years where there's been significant line movement coming up right before kickoff. So honestly, it's been pretty stagnant. I don't see any significant movement here. If it goes to a 3, it'll be there for like 10 seconds probably. But if it goes to a 3, I'll be grabbing it, I guess.
Hey, betting numbers.
Hot take. I'll grab it at 3. I'll make it on my own lines like 3 down. 3 Down Nation does.
Oh, shots fired. Shots fired here on the show. I feel like that's a good, appropriate time for us to mention that we do record these podcasts Tuesday afternoons, guys. Good segue there for you, Bobby. Just to let people know when we record these videos, Tuesday afternoons, these are what the lines are right now. All right, Terry, when it comes to this matchup here, I get it. I got to play up at Wagertalk for the total in this game. And look, we'll see how much, the Saskatchewan second half impacts them. Their defense, they did lose some guys on defense. Calgary rested going into this one here. But what do you think? It's a near pick, but it's on the road here.
Yeah, so Calgary has had a lot of success against Saskatchewan. They've won 5 of the last 6 meetings between the two teams. So you're right, Rob. They won both meetings last year. And when I look at it here, rest advantage is definitely on Calgary's side. Obviously, they lost week 1, so they're going to want to bounce back here. And they've had a lot of success against Saskatchewan. So I do lean with Calgary, but I have Saskatchewan as the better team of these two teams in my power ranking. So I can understand why the odds are as close as they are. And then when it comes to the total, 4 of the last 5 between these two have gone under 47.5. So usually this is a low scoring game. But both teams in their first game of the year, the total was 58. So obviously in week 1, Calgary lost 30-28, and then Saskatchewan won 31-27 there on Saturday. So previous history, the heavy under might keep me off the over in this one, but definitely not betting an under here. I think this is priced correctly. I think this is a pick 'em. I think a lot of the games this week are going to be really close. So I kind of agree with how games are being priced. And this game here, we've only seen one game from both teams. So it's really still tough to gauge where these teams are at. Once we've seen like 2 or 3 games, then it's easier for me personally to kind of judge where teams are at. I don't want to overreact to 1 week, and we've only seen 1 week from both teams. So this is going to be a good watch game for me to watch, and then I'll probably definitely have props in this game and all the games on the slate.
It feels like we saw 2 different versions of the Calgary Stampeders last year in the 2025 season. It was the first 7 or 8 weeks version of the Calgary Stampeders, and then the remainder of the season version of the Calgary Stampeders. Just a matter of which team we get rested, off a bye. We'll find out. As I mentioned, play for me up on this game at Wagertalk, so you guys can check that out. But deal available for myself and Terry as well. Promo code is CFL30. $50 savings for a 30-day pass. So for those of you guys that don't want to jump on board for the full entire season quite yet, you guys can pay just $89 for a 30-day pass. Once again, that's promo code CFL30. All right, let's go around the horn here. Rob, happy to have you. Hope you'll come on again with us here, and maybe we'll keep checking in throughout the season, because any thoughts going into this week and looking forward, both just CFL and betting wise?
Like I said, it's early in the week and we got a small sample size, so you got to be very careful right now. I think the numbers, the overs, there's going to be regression. I really do. I know the play clock. I don't think the play clock is a big of a deal. Like, I don't think that was ever a problem in the CFL as it was compared to the NFL. There's no comparison. But I think it is helping scores a little bit. What number? Is it 2 points, 3 points? I don't know yet. I hope our command center, CFL command center, starts to get plays right as well. That's been an issue in my opinion the whole time they started this. If I had to pick one game that my favorite bet for this week, I'd probably go the Argos over 54.5. That being said, I can see every one of these games approaching the over with ease. And one thing you got to worry about too is Ontario, especially this time of year, is weather. Like one bad quarter of weather can affect an outcome or a total. And the one game that went under this year, I think it was a rainstorm in Ottawa or something, and it landed up half a point short. I was on the under in that game. Luckily, I got it. So anyway, that's about it. Looking forward to some more close football games. I think we'll see some regression eventually out of the veteran quarterbacks. There's no way Trevor Harris can keep up that pace, but so far he's been pretty good.
Great stuff, Rob. Giving us a best bet and over there in the Argos game. And as you mentioned, the weather is a factor, but right now it's a hard season to bet unders. We'll see if we can find ourselves another one. And I'm happy, at least you can say that you were on the only under that's hit so far. You're on the right side. So thanks for coming on, Rob.
I text you.
Yeah. You did. You did. Rob's the weatherman. Rob's the weatherman. He's always.
What's important?
I'll get a text the middle of July with a weather forecast from Rob, letting me know, keeping an eye on it. Bobby, any closing thoughts before we head into week 3?
We mentioned how Fajardo's not going to be doing this on his own, and one game sample size, obviously. But Justin Rankin, he's down to 22-1. For most outstanding player, and they've named this award most outstanding to kind of encourage voters to not give it to quarterbacks. The value's in the double digits here. He opened at 40 for week 1, down to 22 now. Rourke, Alexander, Bo Levi, they're all under 10, and that's just a bet on who doesn't get injured. I think Justin Rankin over 200 yards in offense in the first game of the year, and he was doing this last year. It's just nobody cared because the Elks were out of it. The Elks were out of it from week 1 when they named Trey Ford starter.
Great stuff. It isn't The CFL season has not gotten started until Bobby's given us a most outstanding player future. So we've got that here in week 3. Terry, any last things to mention here for you? Of course, that great promo code CFL30 for 30 days. You're off to a fantastic start to the season as well.
Yeah, it's a great time to take advantage of that deal. Profitable weeks in the first 2 weeks here of the CFL season. 9-5, up 11.66 units so far in the year. So off to a great start. Looking to keep it going. I am a high volume calper, so you'll get premium play and some props usually in all games. So looking to keep it going here and extend my winning streak to 3 weeks in a row.
Terry, congrats, man. Keep it going. Keep cashing those tickets, props, sides, totals, whatever it might be. Thanks to all of you guys for watching. For me, I'll say, guys, good luck being contrarian. If anyone decides to do it with an under, good luck this week. I'm very happy to see 3 of the 4 games this week with some great numbers. You know, not. I remember years ago there was some opening weeks or week 3s with like -7, -8 numbers. So happy to see some close games, hopefully expected on the season. 75%, 6-2, plus 10.5 units on the season. That's number 1 at Wagertalk, exactly where we picked up last year. And I know the joke goes around, everyone's number 1 at something. Well, hey, we're just number 1 on the season and last season in the CFL. So can't go around that, guys. Let's make some money here, guys. 5% going this week. And of course, that total play I mentioned in the Riders and the Stamps game as well. All the best, guys. Good luck. We'll see you next time.